Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create an AI agent on Copilot to help you automate your daily workflows. So for someone like me, for example, I work a lot with different contracts, legal contracts, vendor contracts, and agreements. And a lot of times every year we have to renew those agreements, and we have to take a look at what does it include, what it should not include. Now, most of the time, vendors and suppliers will increase their rates for maintenance contracts, for scheduled contracts. So in my case, I have to reduce the cost of these contracts to be able to meet the budget requirement which I have assigned every year. So let me just explain what I'm going to do here in this video. So the problem that I'm working on, or which we will cover here, is if you spend hours and hours of analyzing contract details, sections of different contracts. So for example, if you have a contract which is about 40 pages or 30 pages, and you have to go through it and analyze what does it cover, what will the vendor cover, what will the vendor will not cover as part of the contract, what are the risk factors in the contract, what are the financial obligations for the customer. All of these details takes a long, considerable time for me to actually go through and try to figure out and extract data and copy and paste data to other documents. So when you're working with long contracts like 20, 30, 40 pages, and you have multiple vendors you work with, maybe you have 10 vendors, so that's about 10 different contracts which you have to go through and meet with your team to be able to remove things and add things and modify things and understand the risks of those contracts. So it can be very time consuming. So in this case, we'll create an agent that will handle all these tasks for us. So the problem is analyzing contracts is very time consuming, especially for agreement contracts that can be more than 40 pages. So the solution here is we will be able to create an AI agent which will automatically review all the contract details and give us a list of coverage, what the contract entails, and a clear bullet list for me, summarized, and for me to be able to actually extract what I need from that data and then save me hours and hours of analysis and reviewing. So I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing here. So this is something I created earlier. This is an AI agent. I'm going to give it a sample contract. So this is a sample contract which I have. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create summarize and then submit, and then this little agent here is going to automatically summarize the contract for me into a bullet list. And look at that. It just gives me in different sections the customer obligations or the responsibilities of the customer as part of this contract agreement. Right? It gives me pages, the page numbers on which section this was extracted from, okay, and gives me all in bullet points, okay. Financial obligations on page 29. This is the fixed fee for the contract, $300,000 for the specific contract, right? Milestone payments. These are the payment terms as part of the contract. Solution design document, $50,000. Construction document, $50,000, and so on. Travel living expenses included in the price. Recommended next steps, $150,000, and so on. Vendor coverage. In this case, the vendor, BMC, which is the main technology vendor in this case, it gives you all what the vendor will cover as part of the contract, all in clear-cut bullet list for me just to go and analyze and review and then take the next steps forward. Vendor exclusions, what will not be covered as part of the contract, which the vendor will not cover. These are all the points which the vendor will not cover in this contract. Start and end dates, the starting date of the contract, and the estimation duration, 14 weeks in this case. Compliance checklist for the customer, what we need to do for the customer as a compliance checklist. Risk summary, this is an internal analysis which the agent did as part of the tasks which I assigned the agent. and it actually assesses the risks on the contract, and this allows me to simply review the risks and then figure out what needs to be done, what should be covered, what is an urgent risk, what risk has a big impact, right? So now I can just go here and just copy and paste what I need and email it to my team, and then we can go and analyze it, and this way it saves me hours and hours from reading the contract. And this is the actual contract here, which I just gave it to the agent. So if you look here, it's about 31 pages. The contract here is 31 pages. Here's the vendor, the BMC vendor, the details of the contract. It has. So if I wanted to compare what it did, let's say I'm going to go back here, and I want to see actually the financial obligations, right? Page 29. So I'm going to go to my contract. I'm going to go to page 29, which is right here, which actually contains all the financial information of the contract. Right, $300,000 as part of the contract, and that's what it extracted here, $300,000 directly into as a summary. Okay, so this way I can verify and confirm what data it extracted and put it in the list. I can just go and confirm, just if I want to be extra safe on what it did. Okay, so this is a very easy way for me to be able to summarize and save me hours and hours from going through different contracts and extracting different contracts and putting everything in different documents. So now, how do we create this? How can we create this in Copilot? So I'm going to go over the steps right now. Step 1 is create the agent in Copilot 365. Now please note, you need to have Copilot 365, which is right here. This is basically your Copilot, which is part of your Office 365 subscription, or part of your Microsoft 365 subscription, which includes all your Office applications, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint and Outlook. Okay, you cannot. I'm not sure if you can do this with the regular Copilot, the free version. You need to have a license to get the Copilot 365. So just keep this in mind. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to agents, and here on the left side, I'll go ahead and create an agent. So I'll click create an agent. This will give me the page where I can actually configure and create my agent for me. Think of an agent like your own little trainee or your own little intern. You give it tasks and assignments, and he will just go and complete all these assignments for you, right? And then you just review the work, and then you take the next step. So it saves you hours and hours of time. Okay. So here I'm going to go and click configure. This will give me the configuration page of the agent. So here I'm going to give it a name. I'll call it, so this is a contract analysis agent, so I'm going to call it Contracts AI, or maybe I can just call it Lexi for legal AI, for Lexi AI, right? So this description is like an indicator for me to know what this agent will do. Okay. Here I'm just going to put a simple description. That way whenever I open the agent, I can go and find out what exactly it's doing, and then I can take the next steps. Right? Maybe you can have an agent for financial analysis. Maybe you can have an agent for auditing. Different kinds of tasks which you can assign to the agent to do the tasks for you. Instructions. Here you're going to give it the prompt. Now the prompt has to be very detailed enough for the agent to complete the work based on what you need it to do. You can't just put like a simple summarized prompt or checklist prompt or extract data from this, right? It's not going to be that. You have to have a detailed prompt for you to for the agent to complete the tasks, right? All right. So now that I added my prompt, these are all different options for you to consider, but I'm going to cover these options separately in probably separate videos, because each one gives you different functions to configure the agent to do specific tasks. Here you can add specific websites for the agent to consider in its analysis or if in its response. You can do that as well if you work a lot with different sites or different websites. And then you have here the capabilities of the agent. It can create documents, it can create charts or specific code. You can do that as well if you enable this. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to make it easy, as simple as possible, just for it to be able to deliver the tasks which I needed. Now I'm going to go here to suggested prompts, right? Summarize. So here I'm going to create attachment. This is a suggested prompt, which basically creates a little button in front of the agent. In this section here, you will see how the agent will look like, and this button right here, all you need to do is upload the attachment, let's say the contract sample, and then you click summarize, and then it will directly create the list of the summaries which we just saw earlier in the example. Okay, these are different buttons for you to configure or to add if you want to simply minimize the time for typing for the specific task that the agent will do. Okay, now this is all done. I'm going to go ahead and click create. Now it's creating my agent. Okay, now that's done. So now I can click on go to agent. It will directly take me to the agent. This is the agent which I just created. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload the sample document, which is the contract. Right? I'm going to go down here and click summarize attachment. Okay. Once I click summarize attachment, and then I'm going to click the submit button or send. That will send the prompt directly to the agent to perform its tasks. And just like that, it gives me all the details of the specific contract, right? Just like we saw earlier, in like seconds, right? And now from here I can go and copy and paste whatever I need, extract it, put it in an email, send it to my team members to review it, or discuss it in a meeting for my next request. Okay? Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comments. I'll be able to answer them shortly. Have a great and safe day.